Hey everybody, and happy day number 3. As you guys are jumping on, as always, please do drop into the chat and say hi and where you are coming in from. You can city, state, country, whatever you would like to share. Please share that in the chat. Would love to hear where people are coming in from.
Food. And you might
Hold
not
on.
really
I gotta make sure everybody is muted. So, just to let everybody know, I resent the questionnaire email. The initial one that went out this morning with the replay had a broken link. So I sent a secondary email at 9:30 this morning, which I know a bunch of you did get because there are already about 14 pre-submitted questions for tomorrow. I will be also posting that direct link in the Facebook group. So you guys, obviously it's going to be emailed out again, but it'll also be posted in the Facebook group. So you guys can just click on it and submit your questions for tomorrow. As always, for the Q&A, I always take the pre-submitted questions first. And then after I run through all of them, we will then open the room up to everyone else. So there's a lot to cover today. Obviously, we have 2 winners to announce at the end of today. Number one, it's going to be, that's for the 2 autographed copies of my latest best-selling book, The LinkedIn Book for Sales and Marketing. And then tomorrow, 2 winners will be announced from today's accountability assignment around LinkedIn newsletters. That are going to get free access to my $197 course for absolutely free. It's called The 5 Layers of LinkedIn. Now, again, do check your junk or spam if you did not see any emails from me, just to make sure. And again, we have, if you have not yet joined the Facebook group, there's still time to do that. If someone wants to drop the link in the chat, you can do so. And the other big thing that I want to make sure everyone knows is that the replays to this are available until Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. They will be available to watch back in the Facebook group under the guide section, but also obviously in the email. So they'll all be updated and they will all be there. And then Melissa, just make sure that you did officially register. You can just send an email to support. I'm going to put that in there right now, at scottaaron.net. So anyone that needs any help, if they didn't get an email, just send an email to my support team. And obviously they will take care of it from there. Now, so drop into the chat. Number one, what has been your biggest takeaway from what we've covered so far within LinkedIn video and LinkedIn polls? I just want to take a pulse of where all of you are right now with all of the things that we actually have covered. And I've already gotten a lot of great feedback. Those that submitted some questions, there's obviously also a feedback. Polls, consistency, posting polls in groups. Videos are important to develop know, like, and trust. Absolutely. Easier than I thought it would be. Wonderful. Yeah. And again, we're going to go over newsletters today. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to say newsletters are a beast, but it's one of those things where we're going to create the outer shell of the newsletter today. And then I'm going to show you specific things that you can do, obviously, to take your prior content, repurpose it, and have a weekly newsletter. But the objective of today is to create your newsletter, pick the title, pick the description, all of those things, and then you can start feeding it. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, what I want you guys to do now, if you feel that you could benefit from continued training from me privately on updates to LinkedIn, features, my LinkedIn philosophy, lead generation tactics, sales conversion tactics, type the word me if you feel you could benefit from additional private trainings from that. Now, for those of you that did not know this, I actually launched my own private membership. It's called the LinkedIn Growth Hub, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat right now. It's only open for the next, I think, 4 days. The doors close on Monday. It's a $49 a month membership, cancel at any time. And you can also pay in full. People like to pay up front for a year. You do get a 20% discount. And for those that didn't know this, this is my private hub. This is my private hub where I teach you everything about LinkedIn, what's working, what's not working. This is basically how it's broken down. I have my LinkedIn philosophy with masterclasses. There's a new masterclass every single month. So it goes over my LinkedIn philosophy, my systemization process on LinkedIn, LinkedIn features that you need to take advantage of. Also, LinkedIn lead generation tactics. So how you can better everything on LinkedIn. And again, just to let you know, there's always a masterclass video with a workflow sheet. So you always get extra accountability with this. There's guest trainings. There's bonus recorded live trainings. You can actually become an affiliate of this and earn a residual 20% commission from people that you refer this membership to. And this is the beautiful thing about it. I cover all the facets. So a lot of people have questions about, what do I need to do to keep up on LinkedIn? That's why I do a fresh and new LinkedIn masterclass every single month, and it's in real time. The first Monday of every month, a new masterclass drops on one of these strategies, whether it's my philosophy, the way that I systematize my process, features, or lead gen tactics that obviously create sales. So the doors are only open to this until Monday, and then they close. I only open the doors to this 2 times a year. So if you're really ready to take that next step, and again, everything is here for you. There's a private Facebook group. There is also a full support email with obviously what can be done if you need things from me, my team, questions, but also, unlike other memberships out there, it is all about collaboration. So time to time, I will actually put up a poll in the private Facebook community, and I will ask people, what new trainings would you like me to do? And I do the trainings that you ask of me, because I want to make sure people are getting the right value. It is only $49 a month. There is no contract. It's month to month. You can cancel at any time, but there are some people that do want a discount. And I offer a discount to people that pay in full. You get a 20% discount. So again, the doors to this are only open until Monday. And if you're looking to up-level your LinkedIn game, then this is the way that you can do it. You can learn directly from me. The things that you see online, you're not going to see within the hub. They are private trainings. This is deeper work that you need to do. So if you feel that not only this workshop was beneficial, but just imagine getting once a month fresh new training on something new to LinkedIn that has helped me, that can help all of you. So I invite all of you to click the link if you're ready to dive in. Obviously, you have until Monday to do so, but I always tell people, get in while you can. Once the doors are closed, they're closed until further notice, and I would love to support you guys in that way. So again, I'm going to drop the link in there. You can open up the page, you can sign up while we're on here, or you can wait until we're done. But again, I want to continue to support you guys. And if you found significant value from this in this free workshop, imagine what you can learn in this private membership that I have. So I do once a month live Zoom trainings as well. So when a new masterclass does come out, I always do a live training that Monday in the private group. There's always email notifications about that. And then there are also new trainings as well. So again, they're always done at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the first Monday, but they're streamed to a private Facebook group so people can watch it back at their own leisure. So it's very user-friendly. It's basically plug and play. You watch them when you want to watch them. They are at your disposal, and you can dive into as much as you want. So if everybody is clear on that before we dive in today, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure everybody is with me. Okay. So again, if you want to continue learning from me, obviously we do have Q&A tomorrow, and you want to learn all the ins and outs of LinkedIn, of what you can do to grow your business the way that I have and continue to do. The LinkedIn Growth Hub is a great place to do so. So I'm going to leave that link in there one last time. Now, again, you have till Monday to sign up. So again, would love to see you in there. Would love to continue working with you. So just a reminder, there's going to be another homework thread pinned to the top of the Facebook group. It's going to say day 3 homework thread, obviously with the accountability assignment, which we're going to go over today. Now, the other big thing that I want to talk about with all of you is the Q&A is really important for you guys to be a part of tomorrow, because that's your opportunity to ask me any and all questions. And again, the fact that a bunch of you have already pre-submitted questions, again, everyone can ask 2 questions on that form. So again, the good thing is that you guys can ask anything and everything, and I'm looking forward to doing that. So make sure that you're a part of it. Obviously, it's going to be recorded as well, so you can watch back any of the questions that you may have missed. Also a reminder, you're still going to be getting those daily emails, obviously the morning replay tomorrow morning, and obviously the 1-hour warning, 15-minute warning, and the we are live. Now, just to kind of touch base with what we went over yesterday, drop a Y or a yes or an N or a no if you do or do not currently have a LinkedIn newsletter. I just want to see. So there's a bunch of no's. There are a few yeses. Okay. All right. Now, for those that do have a LinkedIn newsletter, drop a Y or a yes or an N or a no if you are consistent with that newsletter. So if you do have a newsletter, a Y or a yes or an N or a no if you are consistent with it. So Hemda, yes. Well, Hemda's obviously, she's one of my superstar LinkedIn Growth Hub members. So grateful to have her here as well. Last issued was last May. Okay. So here's the thing. There is, just like how I showed you guys, how cool is it when I showed you yesterday that you can pre-schedule your LinkedIn polls? How cool is that, right? It just, LinkedIn, I really feel they step up their game in the right way, because you can pre-schedule posts, you can pre-schedule videos, you can pre-schedule polls, you can pre-schedule your newsletter editions. So I always tell people, at the end of the week or the beginning of the week, just get all your stuff scheduled. Just set it and forget it. Now, a lot of people say, well, won't that hurt my engagement because I'm using a scheduling tool? It's not a scheduling tool. Scheduling tools, they are actually good for social media, because the social media platforms would rather have you post than not post at all. And the fact that LinkedIn has their own one that's embedded, oh man, it's even better. So with LinkedIn newsletters, and this is why this is going to be, I would say, the most deep training that we do of these 4 days, because there are some things that need to be done to create your LinkedIn newsletter. And I'm going to walk you through step by step what you need to do. And you're obviously going to do that after we are done today. So I'm going to give you a live look. I'm going to show you what the finished product looks like, and obviously what can be done to move forward. Now, if you guys are ready to dive into LinkedIn newsletters, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Awesome. All right, let me get my screen up as I always do. And let me share my screen. Let me hide the video panel. I'm going to present. All right, if you guys can still see my screen, please drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure that everything is coming clearly through. Wonderful, beautiful. Okay, here we go. All right, so day number 3. Day number 3. LinkedIn newsletters. Now, this for me has been just super beneficial. I have close to 7,500 subscribers now of my LinkedIn newsletter. It provides me consistent visibility, consistent engagement, and consistent leads. And I'm going to show you how to do all of those today. So there are multiple benefits to LinkedIn newsletters. Number one is audience engagement. So LinkedIn newsletters allow you to connect directly with your followers and engage with them with valuable content. This is the beautiful thing. LinkedIn articles go out to the ethos of LinkedIn. Like, you don't know where it's going. It's going down a black hole. But with LinkedIn newsletters, people are subscribing to that specific newsletter, so they want that information from you. So it's that specific platform within LinkedIn where you can share your expertise, your insights, updates, and you're fostering that sense of community among your connections that you want to. So if that's clear, drop a number 1 in the chat. That's why this is so beneficial. It is super hyper targeted and hyper focused. I mean, incredibly. Now, the second benefit to it, is thought leadership. Thought leadership is the other big thing of why a LinkedIn newsletter is key. So type the word "me" in the chat if you would like to become more of a thought leader within your profession or your industry. Yeah, we all would. I'll tell you, one of the easiest ways, one of the simplest ways to do that is to have a hyper-targeted newsletter on LinkedIn. So I called mine LinkedIn Tips and Updates. So what do you think people are going to get from it? They're going to get LinkedIn Tips and Updates. That's the key to it. So thought leadership, by publishing that newsletter, it can establish you as that thought leader in your industry and in your space. It's your opportunity to share your knowledge, opinions, and your specific and unique perspective on relevant topics. And that allows you to gain more credibility and influence because people are subscribing to your newsletter because they want to. And I'm going to go over all the nuances and how amazing they are and why you all should start one. So if you are ready to start your newsletter starting today, type the word "ready" in the chat. Because once you start it, it's very easy to keep up with it, but it's also going to benefit your business so much. Now, the other great thing, and the thing that Jill put in there. So to the one caveat is if you're new to LinkedIn and you don't have much of a network, you need 150 connections/followers to enable yourself to start a newsletter. So if everybody's clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. You must have 150 connections/followers to be able to create LinkedIn newsletters. So you could do articles all day long if you're under 150 connections/followers. Now, the fact is that it's also great for networking. Such a powerful tool for networking, right? Relationship marketing is one of the best forms of building your business. When you consistently provide valuable content within your newsletter, you end up attracting like-minded professionals to your network. You attract ideal clients to what you've been providing, which can create sales in your business. Engaging with your newsletter can lead to meaningful connections, collaborations, and also potential clients. Type a Y or a yes if you would like those things to happen for you. Yeah. So everything that we're covering this week, prior to learning it, I completely know that prior to this week, some of these things on LinkedIn seemed daunting. They seemed very challenging. They seemed to cause a lot of overwhelm and put us into this analysis paralysis area where we end up not doing anything. Would you agree with that? Just drop a Y or a yes. Overwhelming. Now, wouldn't you guys all agree after kind of going through these first 2.5 days that you feel better about everything that we've been going over, that it doesn't seem as daunting, it doesn't seem as challenging because you've been given a path? So what I also want to remind you is everything that we've covered this week is just a small taste of what the people in my LinkedIn Growth Hub membership actually learn. So if you feel great about what you've learned today, yesterday, and Monday, again, just imagine how much better you will feel having even more resources, more tools, more streamlined processes than you've already learned today, yesterday, and on Monday. Now, personal branding. Oh man, this is obviously, you guys know my wife. She wrote a book on how to build your personal brand on social media. LinkedIn is the #1 place to build your personal and business brand, bar none. LinkedIn newsletters, they're an extension of your personal brand. And her book is called How to Build Your Personal Brand on Social Media. You can find it on Amazon. Wonderful book. It looks like this. If you guys can see that. It's a wonderful book. Now, when you're building your personal and business brand, right? A newsletter allows you to do that. So if you think about it, and yes, and you know, because LinkedIn is compatible with Google and Yahoo and all the other search engines, your newsletters will now be found in general search engines. So that's why it's important to use SEO for your personal brand. That's why I called mine LinkedIn Tips and Updates, because if someone was to search LinkedIn tips or LinkedIn updates, guess who's going to populate in that search result? Me and my newsletter. It's an extension of that personal brand. It's an extension of that business brand. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Good. So you want the ability to showcase your expertise. You want to showcase your personality. You want to showcase your professional interests. This all helps you stand out in your field and also attract opportunities to that. I can't express to all of you enough how much your level of credibility goes up by having a LinkedIn newsletter. If you agree that it would help your credibility, type a #1 in the chat. Again, we talked about building that know, like, and trust, right? We talked about building the know, like, and trust. That is done by making sure that you have credibility, and a LinkedIn newsletter allows you to do that. Analytics, which I also love, right? I love numbers. I love facts. Facts are friendly. LinkedIn provides analytics for your newsletters. It allows you to track the performance of your content, who's viewing it, what industry, what job title, how many views. The crazy thing is this. So I have about 7,500 subscribers, and not everybody reads them, but I end up getting anywhere between 30 to 40% of my subscribers to read my newsletter each week. Do you know what it's like to have 2,500 to 3,500 eyeballs on your stuff every single week? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I can't express to you guys enough the importance of this. And everything that I've been teaching you this week and everything that I teach in my LinkedIn Growth Hub is based on things that I currently do. That's the beautiful thing about this. And they do communicate. I have comments, and I'm going to show you all of those things. You can see how many people read your newsletter. It shows you the insights, which articles were most popular, and you can then use those insights to refine your content strategy. So let me ask you this. Would you create more newsletters of those that were producing great results or producing not great results? Would you rather redo the ones that are doing well or the ones that are not doing well? You would want to continue to produce the ones that are getting great results. That's why it's important for you to always put out weekly LinkedIn newsletter editions so you have things to analyze. You have stats and facts, right? And you have all of that analysis of what is and what is not working, so you can do more of what is working and less of what's not working. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Awesome. Lead gen. This is where it gets fun. If you're in a business or any sort of sales role, LinkedIn newsletters can help you generate leads. How many of you, type the word me, how many of you would like to generate more leads just from producing LinkedIn newsletter editions? All of us, yeah. And I'm going to show you, you can include calls to action, such as inviting readers to connect with you or sign up for your services, your newsletter, a free opt-in, your website. And this is how you convert readers into clients or customers through your LinkedIn newsletter editions. It's a lead generation source. There are so many benefits to this. I can't even express to you guys how important it is. Feedback and interaction, right? LinkedIn newsletters allow for comments and discussions on your posts. Wouldn't you guys agree? Type a Y or yes. Wouldn't you agree that it's important to get feedback? It's important for you to hear from your readers? Yeah, that is the interaction that provides the feedback needed. It gives you different points of views and ideas for future content. It is so beneficial. Feedback is so important. This is also one of the reasons why with my LinkedIn Growth Hub membership, that's why I ask the members, what do you want me to train you on? What do you want this month's masterclass to be on? Why do you think I'm doing that? Because I want to provide content that they actually want to hear about, want to learn about, and want to put into action. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. That's the key. The key is getting feedback from your audience. You want to keep people more engaged? Give them what they want. Give them what they want. Stay informed. By actively curating and sharing content in your newsletter, you'll stay informed about the latest industry trends, news, and developments, which can be beneficial for your own professional growth. Wouldn't you guys agree that doing your own market research about your industry, about your profession, will help you as a business professional? Drop a Y or a yes if you can agree with that. Yeah. We have to do our own market research to stay informed. How can we ever expect to become better at business if we're not staying informed? Again, people ask me all the time, why do you do a monthly masterclass in your membership? Well, because I want to keep people up to date every single month. I mean, do you know how beneficial it is to get a brand new, up-to-date monthly masterclass on something related to LinkedIn that's going on right now and not something that happened 6 years ago? That's why it's an up-to-date membership. That's why people stay in there, because they know the first Monday of every month when that new masterclass drops, they're getting fresh information. You know why? Because I'm doing the research for them. You don't have to go digging through all the stuff. I do it for you, report it, figure out how it works, and teach you how to do the same thing. If that's clear, and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Awesome. Now, enhanced visibility. This is something that we all want. We all want enhanced visibility. Consistent newsletters published can improve your visibility on LinkedIn. People have asked me all the time, Scott, how have you gotten to almost 30,000 followers on LinkedIn? One of the main drivers of the growth of my following on LinkedIn is my content. It's my content. I'm positioning myself as that go-to resource. I want people to always come back for more. As your content gains traction and then your followers start to engage with it, it can then be featured in the feeds of a broader LinkedIn audience. So if you ever go into My Network, the My Network area on LinkedIn will feature your newsletters for people to subscribe. So it's growing organically. So I'll show you when I share screen and I kind of take you through the process. you'll see most of the subscribers of my newsletter are not my first connections. They're third plus, second connections, because they found me through other people in their own network. That's what it's about. So if that's clear, and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. You want that visibility. You want more eyeballs on you and everything that you're providing. So let's focus on LinkedIn newsletters, right? So number one, I always advise at doing at least one newsletter edition per week or every other week. So when you create your newsletter edition, they give you 4 options. Option 1 is daily. Option 2 is weekly. Option 3 is bi-weekly. Option 4 is monthly. Now, daily, that's too much of a commitment. That gives me anxiety, right? So just to let everybody know, an article and a newsletter edition are the same exact thing, except your newsletter is a targeted subscription base of people that want to hear just your content. So articles are basically a wide array of stuff that's just getting pushed out there that you're not getting a general audience. LinkedIn newsletters allow you to build a specified audience of people that want your stuff and your stuff only. So if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat, and I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. Good. So you can also do monthly. Now, daily, like I mentioned, it's too much of a commitment. If you guys would agree with that, just drop a number 1 in the chat. A daily newsletter, I mean, that's too much. Monthly is not enough. And the reason why it's not enough is that if there's someone else in your space that is doing something similar to you, the fact is that if you're doing a monthly newsletter on that type of content and that other person is doing either weekly or bi-weekly, who's going to get more eyeballs on their stuff? The other person, because they're more consistent. So I always recommend people to either do weekly or bi-weekly, which is every other week. So type in the chat, could you commit, or would you rather commit to a weekly newsletter or an every other week newsletter? I just want to hear from you guys what you feel you could commit to. Bi-weekly, 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 weekly, bi-weekly. Okay, so it's a little. So I would recommend one or the other. Okay. So, and remember, you can pre-schedule your newsletters. So you can sit there and you can pre-schedule 4 newsletters to go out a week apart. So just want to remind you of that. Now, whether it's bi-weekly or weekly, completely fine. But I always recommend 1 a week, but I am more than happy with 1 every other week. Now, when you're creating your LinkedIn newsletter name, make sure that your newsletter name and information is relevant to your target audience. So type in the chat, who's your target audience from a profession or industry standpoint? Who is your target audience? So just type that in the chat. Executives. Okay. Addiction treatment centers, music teachers. Awesome. Women with autoimmune disorders, people interested in optimal health. Awesome. So what you want to do is you want to create a newsletter name and the information provided in the description and to it. It's relevant to your target audience. So my newsletter is called LinkedIn Tips and Updates because that's exactly what I'm providing. You don't like, so there's some people that will sometimes use maybe their company name, as their newsletter title. But if people, you have to remember, it's all search engine optimized. So if people are searching for LinkedIn tips or LinkedIn updates and they filter by newsletters, mine will show up. But if I put, BYOB agency or Healthy Fit and Free LLC, they're not searching for that, nor is my newsletter going to pop up. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So always choose names, right, that are relevant to your audience. Okay. Now, make sure that your newsletter editions are focused on pain points that your target market has while providing solutions. I think you guys are picking up on a reoccurring theme, right? Your LinkedIn videos that we went over on Monday, right? Talk about the pain point, provide the solution. Market research polls, target the pain points, provide solutions for it. Newsletter editions, focus on the pain point, give people solutions for those specific pain points. If all this is clear at all, if this is making sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. All of everything that you should be doing on LinkedIn should be from the mindset of being a solution-oriented business professional. Solution-oriented. Being a person of what? Finish my sentence. Be a person of, type it in the chat. I know you know it. Value. Yes. Be a person of value. That is what this is all about. Now, make sure that optimal length, it could be as short as a 2-minute read. I wouldn't go below a 2-minute read, but I wouldn't go over a 5-minute read. So when you publish your newsletter edition and it's done and it's out there and I'll show you, it actually, LinkedIn will show you in compressed time how long of a read it is. So you also have to take this into consideration. If you were to write a newsletter that was 8, 9, 10 minutes long, do you think that's going to deter someone from wanting to read it because of the length, as opposed to writing a 2 or 3 minute read? What's easier? Yeah, Christina said it. They may skim or skip. You want people to read straight through. You want people to read everything that it's about. So you want to keep those newsletter editions between 3 to 5 minutes. You want them to be thought-provoking and also chock full of value. If that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And again, you're going to play around with it. But I would say, as opposed to 2 to 5 minutes, that's going to be your sweet spot, right? That's a pretty meaty newsletter. Okay. Now, a couple things that I want you to really focus on. Commit to doing one newsletter per week or every other week that recaps your previous post. So just to kind of show you, just to like kind of give you a little tidbit, right? And Tanya said a 10-minute newsletter could be broken down into 2 or 3 smaller newsletters. 100%. So let me give you a little hack, right? So the video that I did on Monday, which I'm going to show you kind of like how I broke that down. The video I did on Monday, remember what I told you guys is above the video that you post, you have a little description, right? You have like 3 to 5 sentences, couple bullet points of what people are going to learn in that video. If you guys remember that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So that's going to be your framework. So what I do is I take that framework of what I spoke about in my Monday video and I recap that in written form in my newsletters. So I go from audio video to just written. So Monday and Friday are kind of mirrors of each other, but people are watching and listening on Monday, but they're reading it in greater detail on Friday. If that makes sense, drop a number 1 in the chat. I just want to make sure you guys, so that way you don't have to come up with new content. The tip and everything that you gave on Monday becomes a more meatier, long form piece of content later that week. Now, what I always suggest to do is always post or schedule your newsletter editions to go out at the end of the week. So Thursday, Friday, whatever is really best for you guys. But what I always suggest is making sure that you either publish it in real time on Thursday or Friday, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly around 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning, or you can pre-schedule it, which I'm going to show you how to do that today. So you can pre-schedule it to be released at the time that you want on the day that you want. And it's either going to be Thursday or Friday. That is my recommendation. Number 3, if you get stuck, use ChatGPT for newsletter edition topics for your target audience. Now, I've been using ChatGPT for a while now, and it literally has memorized all the content that I've been feeding to it about LinkedIn in my voice. So it knows my tone of voice, it knows me, and it knows my information. I just go back and I just edit and tweak things that are not my voice, don't make sense, but are not relevant to what I spoke about. So I always allow ChatGPT to give me a framework, and then I add my own voice to it where it's my words only. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a number 1 in the chat. Just want to make sure. So if you're ever stuck, ChatGPT it. Now, I always recommend this. Always have a call to action to build your email list outside of LinkedIn. How many of you type Y or yes or N or no if you're building an external email list outside of LinkedIn? Y or yes, N or no? Good. If you're not, you got to start. Got to start. And here's why. Social media is rented land. We don't own our LinkedIn profiles. We don't own our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channels. We don't own any of that. Those platforms do. They can be shut down like that, including your LinkedIn profile. So that's why it's really important to really take a lot of what you do from online to offline. Have a call to action to visit your website, or to download a free infograph so you can get them into your email service provider. Now, if you don't have an email service provider, that is a topic for another day. That is also something that I go over with people in the LinkedIn Growth Hub. So we go into deeper work there. So again, that's something else that you can learn. But you can put whatever call to action is you want. You can put your calendar link, website. You need a direction. You need that CTA. You need that call to action. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, type the word clear in the chat. Now, but there's 4 things that you don't want to do. Number 1, don't make them too short. They need to be of substance. Don't ever just provide no value. If it's a bunch of hot air, don't post it. Don't ever pitch and sell in your newsletters, meaning buy my course, coach with me here, hire me, buy this. Relationship marketing. You're not selling. You're not pitching. You're connecting. Don't ever talk about things that don't relate to your business or target audience. Be very clear. Be very specific. Everything should be related to the title of your newsletter. So if that's all clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Good. So example names: LinkedIn tips and updates, business tips for growth, lead gen made easy, client acquisition tips. Those are all newsletter names. So don't you think people would understand, oh, I know what LinkedIn tips and updates is going to be all about. Oh, I know what business tips for growth are going to be about. Oh, I know what lead gen made easy is. These are hooks. You need to give people a reason why they should be subscribing to your newsletter. So let's now take a peek at my newsletter, but more importantly, how it needs to be set up. So if you guys have found significant value from this so far, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, again, if anybody has jumped on here late through the training, I know a few people did pop on midway through. I just wanted to let those individuals know that my private LinkedIn Growth Hub membership, the doors are open. I just dropped the link in there. It's $49 a month, cancel at any time. If you pay in full, you get a 20% discount. I do a private monthly masterclass on something new to LinkedIn, whether it's the systemization of what I do on LinkedIn, my philosophy, a feature or an update, or a lead gen tactic that has worked. So again, if you would like to be a part of that, that is the link to do so. Again, you have until Monday night to sign up before the doors close. All right, now, LinkedIn. So first and foremost, type a Y or a yes, or an N or a no if you do or do not have creator mode turned on. So Y or yes, N or no if you do or do not have creator mode turned on. I'm seeing all yeses, which is great. So if you don't have it turned on, obviously, if you scroll down here, you're going to see something called creator mode right here. It's under resources. Okay. All you're going to do is if it's on, it'll say green. If someone pays in full, basically you're getting 20% off by paying in full for the year. So it's not an obligation. People pay in a year in full. So for anyone that wants to pay for the LinkedIn Growth Hub in full, you're paying for 12 months up front, but you're getting a 20% discount. So it ends up being, I think, 9 or 10 months for the price of 12, something along those lines. So if it's on, it'll have a little green button. If it's off, it'll say gray. It'll be gray. It says off. So all you have to do is click on it and basically turn it on. And when you turn it on, let me just close out of this. When you turn it on, this is where you can access LinkedIn Live, audio events, newsletters, and the follow link. Okay. So if everybody is clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So step number one is turn LinkedIn creator mode on. It's a click of a button and it's on. And then you could start accessing LinkedIn newsletters. Now, to activate your LinkedIn newsletter, you're going to go back to the homepage of LinkedIn and you're going to click on write an article. Okay. You're going to click write an article. When you click that, it's going to ask you who wants to publish this. If you have company pages, as we do, they will be listed as well. But you always find, so creator mode, for people that don't know, it's on your profile under resources. So there's a resources area. That is where creator mode is. It's right there. So you can it's on the desktop and it's on the mobile app. So you just look for the resources area, and that is where you would find LinkedIn creator mode. So when you're ready to start your newsletter, you're going to click write an article. You always select your personal profile. So if everybody is clear so far, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Personal profile. You're going to click next. And now this is going to take you into LinkedIn publishing. Now, since I already have my LinkedIn newsletter up and going, you're going to see something around here. You're not going to do it now, but you're going to see something in this area. It's going to say create a newsletter. And what you're going to do is, and people ask why personal versus business. Your personal profile will always get the most engagement. Your business profile only goes out to the people who follow that page. The personal profile gets sent out to anybody that's on LinkedIn. So you always want to create your newsletter from your personal profile. Now, you're going to click, there's a little area right here that says create a newsletter, right? And if you don't have 150 connections or more, you can't do a newsletter yet. You can only do individual newsletters. Now, if you've just turned on creator mode for the first time, it may take a little bit time for you to activate the LinkedIn newsletter. So I would check back in 12 to 24 hours. If it doesn't, pick up right away. Now, so again, you would click create LinkedIn newsletter. Okay. And what it's going to do is it's going to take you into, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. So it's going to take you into the template area where you're going to have something that looks like this. Okay. And it's going to take you into your newsletter details. So this is where you're going to put in your newsletter title, how that could be done. So, I always 100%, I always suggest you to do this from the desktop. I don't believe you can do the creation of a newsletter through your mobile app. You can only do this through the desktop. So this has to be done through the desktop version of LinkedIn. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Has to be done from the desktop. Now, like I said to you before, you're going to come up with a newsletter title that relates to your industry. And this is where you're going to select daily, weekly, biweekly, or monthly. And then you're going to have a newsletter description. So this is a newsletter dedicated to teaching and educating you on LinkedIn tips, LinkedIn updates, and LinkedIn advice. That's it. Very short, sweet, to the point. You're going to upload some sort of image, again, 30 by 30. So it could be a headshot of you, a business picture of yourself, and then you're just going to click done to create your newsletter. So if everybody is clear on those steps so far, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And again, you can go back and watch the replay of this. Okay. So I'm going to hit done, and now it's done. So now you've created your newsletter edition, right? So your newsletter, it's up, it's ready. So when you go back to write an article and then you go and select your personal profile, now it's going to show you Scott Aaron LinkedIn tips and updates. So now this is what you're going to do. You can use your logo. If you don't want to use your picture, that's completely fine. Now, just to kind of show you, you're going to have a title, you're going to have your content here, and you're going to have an image. Okay. And it asks for 19 by 20. Now, what I typically use is Canva. Type a Y or a yes if you guys are familiar with Canva. Okay. Canva.com. It's wonderful. All you have to do on Canva is actually just type in LinkedIn banner, and that will give you a bunch of templates that are the exact size for your LinkedIn newsletters. You type in LinkedIn banner and you can choose one of these. And what you're going to do is you're just going to add the name of your newsletter, the name and title to it right to this. And this is what it kind of looks like at the end. So I'll just show you. This is mine. That is my banner. I put a picture of me in there, right? LinkedIn tips and updates, and then a little bit of a title of that week's newsletter. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Awesome. So I used ChatGPT earlier, and I added my own information here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the title of my new newsletter edition. This is my workflow. I'm going to copy the title, and I'm going to go back here, and I am going to update that title. So if everybody is with me so far, just drop a number 1 in the chat. And they can be monetized, yes. And that there's a process for that, which I go over, but it does take time. Okay. So I'm just going to change the file name, obviously, to LinkedIn, number 3. And again, I'm just going to hit share, and I'm going to download this to my computer. Okay. I'm just going to download the image. So again, I took that information from what I inputted and then edited in ChatGPT. I added my own information to this. Okay. I copied the title, I downloaded it, and now I'm ready to import that into LinkedIn. So all I'm going to do is my downloads, I'm just going to click and drag. And there it is. So if everybody is clear on what I did right there, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Yeah, simple. And again, I use the same thing every week. Now, the other thing is I'm going to just paste the title because it wants the title. So right there, there's my title. And then I'm going to go to the body of the content. Okay. It's all my words. Okay. I'm going to go down and I'm going to copy what I put in there. I'm going to go back to LinkedIn and I'm going to paste. Okay. So if everybody is with me so far, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. It's that simple. So what I like to do is I actually double space a lot of things. So I go in here, and what I do is when there's a page break, I'll hit this little line. It's called divider. I'm just going to click that and it just adds that divider there and it goes over my tips. So I'm just going to, you can use images. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's completely what my content is about that week. And again, I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to double space everything. So it's very easy to read. Okay. I'm walking you guys right through the process of this. This is exactly what I do every single week. So if you guys are following along and this is definitely easier than you thought it would be, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Yeah. Now, you're not going to do all of this. I'm going to, there's certain things that I want you to do first and foremost. So again, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to make sure, and I'm going to maybe I'll put the page break there. There's a divider there. There is a divider there. And then I am going to put the divider in there. It doesn't cost anything for people to subscribe to your newsletter at all. Okay. Now, here's the cool thing. So once this is done, I'm going to show you a couple things before we end today. You will see that I do have a call to action, right there, right? Which of these 3 keys resonates with you most? Let's connect in the comments. Okay, let's continue the conversation. Now, here's what I end up doing. So if you guys are with me so far, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. This is what it looks like at the very end. Beautiful, done, simple, right? So what I always do is, and again, you can put a call to action here. So, I could say, check out more by visiting my website, www.scottaaron.net. And then what I would do is, there's a little thing right here. It's a little paper clip. I'm circling it right there, right? That is how you can actually put in a hyperlink. And very simply, what I would do is I would copy the URL of my website right here. I would click this link. I would paste it, apply it, and now it's clickable right in here. How awesome is that? So now my newsletter can take people off of LinkedIn and then obviously going back to my website. Okay. Now, what I'm going to now do is after that's done, I'm going to grab the last 3 lines only. So I'm going to grab the call to action, the directive of commenting, and my 3 hashtags. And I'm going to click next at the very, very top. And then there's a little image of it. I am going to paste the last 3 lines. I'm going to make sure they're double spaced. And then I'm going to hit this little schedule for later. And I'm going to select Friday. And you guys know what time do I like posting stuff? Type it in the chat. What time do I like posting stuff? In the AM, 7:30 a.m. There you go. And then I'm going to hit next. And it's scheduled. Done. That's it. Super simple. Now, here's the cool thing that I'll show you is that, so just to let you guys know, when you create your newsletter, so if you got like what your homework is, your accountability assignment for today into tomorrow is you are going to, if you haven't yet turned creator mode on, turn it on. If you have it on, great. You are going to create your LinkedIn newsletter, right? You're going to create your LinkedIn newsletter. You're going to create the LinkedIn newsletter name, frequency, description, and then uploading your picture. That's it. You're not writing a newsletter yet. I just want you to start the newsletter before you start creating the content. If that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or yes in the chat. So all you're doing is creating the newsletter name, frequency, description, and picture. That's it. That's all I want you guys to do. And then there's going to be a pinned post at the top of the Facebook group that's going to say, I started my LinkedIn newsletter and the name is, and you're going to type what the name is. So here's what happens. So when you create your LinkedIn, this is the amazing thing about LinkedIn. When you create your LinkedIn newsletter, LinkedIn for you, they automatically invite every single first connection of yours to subscribe automatically. So if you have 2,000 connections, guess what? LinkedIn is going to invite all 2,000 connections of you to subscribe to your newsletter. So you will have subscribers before you know it. And every time you continue to build your network, every time you get a follower, every time someone accepts your connection, guess what they get? An invitation to subscribe to your newsletter. How awesome is that? You don't have to do it. LinkedIn does it for you just by you creating your newsletter. If that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, the other thing is when people subscribe to your newsletter, LinkedIn actually sends those people a personal email that you've just released a new edition. So LinkedIn will send them an email saying, hey, Scott just released a new newsletter edition. Go check it out here. Join the conversation with a button that they can click, and it automatically redirects them to your LinkedIn newsletter. The second thing is there will also be a push notification right up here that if they subscribed, they will get a notification right to their notification bell that I released a new newsletter edition, which drives more eyeballs to it. That is why it's so awesome. The other thing that I love before we finish today, look at what you can do. So I'm going to click on my newsletter right here. And I just drop a Y or a yes if you guys can see this little area where it says 7,487 subscribers. Okay. Look what I can do. I can click on that and it's going to show me every single person who subscribes to my newsletter. Every single person. So now what I can do, much like we talked about in the LinkedIn polls, I can click on these people. If they're a first connection, I can send them a personal note saying, thank you so much for subscribing to my newsletter. What do you love most about it? Or if I can be of any help or service, let me know. If they're a second connection, you can send them a connection request, add a note. Hey, just wanted to send you a connection request as you subscribe to my newsletter. Thank you for your support and hope to connect with you. Wow. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, remember, your accountability assignment for today into tomorrow, all you have to do is create your newsletter name, frequency, description, and picture. That's it. Again, we went over how you'll do the content later. I just want you to create the newsletter first. Okay. Now, also a reminder, the replays are available till Monday. And also do not forget, if you really found significant value, well, the banner is part of that, of what the banner is later. The banner is actually when you start producing the content. You only need to have the banner when you actually are writing your first newsletter. I just want you to create the newsletter first. The banner you will create when you're ready to start producing your editions. So again, if you guys found significant value so far, I just wanted to again remind you, the doors to my LinkedIn Growth Hub are open for the next 4 days. Would love to see you a part of it. I have a new masterclass dropping on the first Monday of November, which I believe is the 6th. So in about 2 weeks, the first Monday of every month, there's a new masterclass. There's also a live training on it in the private Facebook group, support email, bonus trainings, guest trainers, resources, templates, worksheets, workbooks, everything that you need to succeed for only $49 a month, cancel at any time, obviously, or you can pay in full. So again, that's the link there. Also, I'm going to put into the Facebook group for this workshop, I will put the direct link to pre-submit your questions. It will also be emailed out to you. So remember, we're still meeting tomorrow for 60 minutes of live Q&A and coaching. So if you have burning questions, each person can ask 2 questions on the pre-submitted form. I will answer those first and foremost, and then open it up for the rest of the room with any questions that they have. So if everybody is clear on all of that, of what we covered today, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. 2 winners. The 2 winners of my 2 autograph copies are going out of my book. Joanna Brown and Kathy Painter are the 2 winners of my autograph book. If your name was called, just send an email, and I'm going to type this into the chat. It's support@scottaaron.net. And just, say, hey, I won one of the autographed copies. Here is my home address, and my team will mail you out a copy of my book that will be autographed by me. Remember the accountability assignment. You need to create your newsletter name, description, frequency, and picture. Make sure it's created. And in that little post that's going to be pinned to the top, it's going to say, I created my LinkedIn newsletter, and it is called, and the name of your LinkedIn newsletter. And then I will be announcing 2 more winners tomorrow at the end of tomorrow's Q&A session. That is going to go over, obviously, there's going to be 2 winners for my free 197 course. So again, for those that want to join the LinkedIn Growth Hub, again, I'm going to drop the link one last time. Would love to see you a part of there. We got a lot of fun trainings coming up the rest of this year, moving into next year. So everyone, love and gratitude. I hope you enjoyed today, and I will see everybody tomorrow, same time. Enjoy, love and gratitude, and I'll see you guys then.